Welcome back to Tennessee History Channel. Today, we'll be going over the evolution of the U.S. Army uniforms during the Vietnam War. Before the Vietnam War, particularly adapted in 1954, it was the AG dress uniform. This contained a mix of a gray, blue, and olive drab color mixed with brass buttons, very familiar to the U.S. World War II officer's jacket. This uniform here is a smaller variant and used in the 1980s. However, it is the same exact model as the ones used in Vietnam. However, this is the legitimate Vietnam War uniform. This one was made in 1969. It contains sergeant patches in the 25th Infantry Division. In the very late 50s, all the way up to very late 1965, this was the standard U.S. Army uniform. This right here is the first pattern OG-107 field shirt. It contains 2 square pockets, no button cuffs, as long as full sleeves. The uniform itself was made out of olive drab, which was seen fully during the Korean War. After World War II, the regular U.S. dress uniform and uniform variants during World War II was khaki, brown, and sometimes olive drab. However, during the Korean War, they fully mixed into olive drab. Eventually, after the first pattern OG-107 field shirt was phased out, they issued this, the second pattern OG-107 field shirt. It took almost the exact design, except a different pocket shape. The uniform contains the patch of the Army security, and that is because this is the uniform my grandfather wore during the Vietnam War. Almost every single uniform you see will be worn by my grandfather. Here we have the skin of John Lennon. This right here is the US N65 field jacket. As you can tell, this was made in 1965, the same year that the first pattern and second pattern OG-107 were both phased out and introduced. It looks a lot like its previous counterparts of World War II. Here I have the M43 field jacket from World War II. It contains a zipper with buttons that snap, and it contains a flap underneath it. Sometime late in the Vietnam War, the jungle fatigues were phased out for only jungle combat. The OG-107s were for more utility and basic training uniform. Here we also have replicas of the jungle boots, which would have been worn with the full uniform. These, in fact, are replicas and not actually from the Vietnam War. The Japan flag is sewn onto the uniform since he served some time in Japan. After the second pattern OG-107 and many other uniforms, the third pattern OG-107 field shirt was adapted. It contained button cuffs, entirely differently shaped pockets, as long as the same patches and features as the other uniforms. Buttons on the third pattern OG-107 were the same as the jungle fatigues. However, the ones on the first pattern and second pattern were the exact same. As an honorable mention to end off the video, this is the uniform worn by my grandfather during Vietnam, specifically the dress uniform. I did not want to pull this down to show on the video as I was afraid I would get dirt on it from the blanket. None of my grandfather's Vietnam uniforms in this video were harmed or got dirt on them. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to make more videos like this with other uniforms of different wars. And as always, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.